I would always think that you have to write an essay as a speech, as if you are trying to explain something very passionately to the person reading it. That's what made the difference between these two mains that I wrote. Um, you really need to know what you're passionately trying to convey, because otherwise information anyone can read, and GS is there for that. But I think
Hmm.
that's what makes essays really different, is you need to have that sort of an impact, or that um that really attractive factor, that okay, I'm not writing an essay for information, but I'm writing
Hmm.
an essay to convince somebody, to persuade someone as to why my argument makes sense. So
Okay.
I think a lot of people are not very familiar with writing dramatically, and it does not require anyone to be great in English or something like that. But it's just about the thought process, right? If I were to talk to my friend, how I would communicate to them is how I would want to write on the paper, but a little more professionally. I have given two mains and I've consistently scored well in the essays. People really struggle with philosophical essays, and that is one thing that I did not struggle with as much, because I kind of had a kind of a template in my mind as to with what approach I wanted to go in. And
Okay.
it's safe to say that I think I only improved my score. So I got a 123 previously and a 140. Either times I
Okay.
took on very tough philosophical essays, which seem very tough, but it's actually how quickly you can simplify it and how quickly you can make it dramatic. For example, if there was the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world, right? So I would also very strategically pick out from my background, which is in psychology. I'm already a master's in it.
Okay.
I would write a different perspective with that. I think people are mostly always stuck in these templates of social, political, economic only. But I think you should go all out. Go into literature, go into psychology, go into sociology, go into sciences, and that's how I would pick out examples. Always start with a quotation, yes, but fill in as many quotations in a sync. So if you are
Mhm.
talking about, say, political empowerment, have something extremely relevant as a quote to that, than just a random quote that comes from nowhere. So unfortunately, unlike how everybody does this whole approach to UPSC, my mocks were very limited for my writtens, because
Okay.
I was I had paucity of time, but I always used to treat a mock as a experimentation zone, where I
Hmm.
would write what I think is intuitive, and then I'll get feedback on it. And if it's wrong, I just didn't do that. That's the approach that I took. I didn't keep writing mocks for the sake of it, because I also knew that's how you capitalize on time.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes, I
Hmm.
would definitely show, like, I have certain topics in mind from the previous years only, and
Okay.
I write the essay. Absolutely not. Like, and I don't think my main score was a surprise to me, because I I feel that okay, so I was doing masters along with giving this attempt, and 3 months I had a trimester system, and I was doing. I gave mains and then I wrote my trimester papers. So I was very short on time anyway. But the thing
Hmm.
that I realized is, for a person like me, I need to know what mistakes I'm making. And
Hmm.
any sort of feedback given on the side was something, initially it would be a little sad. Like I would score 80, 70, 80 in my GS2 papers, GS1 papers, GS1 even worse, because
Uh,
I wasn't able to get it. Like, I come from an arts background, so there's a style of writing which I think was a mistake even in my previous mains. I did not write
okay.
any talks before that. But
Okay.
this time I only made it a point to know where am I going wrong, because and like increasing my speed, practicing it. Like I would keep 6 to 7 minute timers and then try to write one answer. Because even if whole papers weren't possible, one answer, you keep writing it. So what that told me was like how to condense information when you're under stress. You don't have to put yourself under pressure and then see, I'm getting 70 marks, I can't do mains at all.
Hmm.
Instead, what it was is that if they're telling you you're not adding something, how can you quickly think on those things? So I would make sticky notes, and like when I'm revising, make those pointers. So I condensed information like that. But my mocks did not reflect. I mean, I did not imagine GS1 especially, geography is something I'm not comfortable with. But towards the end, I understood that you have to make very rough maps, even if you're not good at it, even if it looks like a really ugly map, if I may say, use that word. But you just go and again. I am a good reader, but I haven't read as extensively as I would like to during preparation. So my strategy would be, if I have best case studies or
Hmm.
anything that I would find in the newspaper, I would thematically write those things down. Say,
Okay.
for example, recently political empowerment had that statement that I think around 40% of the seats were reserved for women by Congress in the UP elections. Something as simple as that is a very good tale to tell.
Hmm.
That is how I would record information, and not necessarily from just that. That's the thing. I think there's so much fear about essay that you have to be an excellent writer, but that's not it. You just need to have your thoughts as if you're speaking in a cohesive story. So
Hmm.
it's just about how you present the most basic and banal information that exists. It could be something extremely random, but you can put it in a way. So template wise, I think I can help out in the sense that templates of, I think, flow is what is required in an essay. A lot of times flows are missing. So when you're adding on to that, like I mean, example wise, it's if you're talking about political empowerment, you end the question with how do you tackle something like a sarpanch pati then you go on
Hmm.
and talking about, okay, no, there's a social dimension to it, but how would that
Hmm.
social freedom come about? Because there's an economic dimension to it. So,
Hmm.
asking questions towards the end, you give a very impactful example, then you ask a question towards the end. Okay, so if you're talking about a sarpanch in a village, a female sarpanch in a village who's done really well, but how was
Hmm.
she able to do that? It is because there is a social backing that the lady had. She probably did her MBA because she had a supportive family or something like that. Eventually,
Hmm.
but what does it boil? Does everybody have access to that? No. So, as the government, it is our job to be providing equal opportunity or access so that even people who don't come from well-to-do families, they have that baseline to start dreaming on. And you have to use very colorful, not colorful, but like passionate terms to write an essay. That otherwise it's a long GS answer. So
Right.
template-wise, I think there I might be able to help out a little bit.